Welcome from the studios of KPBS TV in San Diego, California. We are reaching you live through a unique and complex international telecommunications network via satellite, microwave, and cable. The International Training Center at San Diego State University brings us all together in this video conference, which joins distinguished organizations located in Mexico, the Dominican Republic, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, Ecuador, Venezuela, Peru, Brazil, Bolivia, Paraguay, Argentina, the United States of America, and the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development in Geneva, Switzerland. Welcome to our program on Standardization and Metrology, the essence of quality and performance. This is the second video conference of the series Competitive Success with a Global Focus. My name is Richard Page. I will be your moderator for today's program. I am an attorney with the San Diego law firm of Page & Bush, practicing in the areas of corporate and international law and alternative dispute resolution. Today's program is composed of 4 presentation modules and 2 question and answer sessions. We look forward to your live participation. There is no question that true competitiveness, particularly in view of current market globalization trends, can only be sustained with increased product and service quality. Consumers and suppliers all over the world are linked today in an interdependent chain that increasingly requires order, consistency, and reliability in all of its links. But quality control, however, cannot be accomplished without measurements. These can be reliable only with adequate instrument calibration, which in turn depends on measuring standards and metrology. The so-called quality chain will be essential more and more for competitive success of all organizations in business, government, and education. What do we mean by standards? What is metrology, and why is it important? This exciting video conference will present an overview of the basic principles of standardization and metrology, which together represent the backbone for quality and market satisfaction. Our distinguished invited speakers will also discuss the efforts of national and international bodies, such as the German Cooperation Agency, the GTZ, Organization of American States, the OAS, the International Standards Organization, or ISO, in promoting quality and in establishment of national standard agencies. Our speakers will also review some of the current trends in certification and will discuss alternative participation mechanisms in hemispheric metrology programs. Today, the number of certified organizations in management systems standards, ISO 9000 and ISO 14000, topics which have been covered in past ITC video conferences, continues to increase rapidly around the globe, and this has greatly mitigated the quality and environmental concerns of manufacturers and service providers. In 1993, there were about 27,000 ISO certified entities worldwide. By December 1997, this figure had reached approximately 250,000. Many organizations included in the recent certification rush have been small to mid-sized. But as the number of management systems certifications continues to grow, this activity will cease to become a competitive differentiator. Issues regarding our productive capacity and activity are already being addressed, and standards are being drafted to promote the development of some of the differentiators that it is hoped will create the next wave in quality assurance and excellence. The development of industry and standard-specific standards is one of the latest trends. Furthermore, a number of organizations are now collaborating on the promotion and support of new standards that will ensure quality beyond the traditional ISO 9000 and ISO 14000 systems. In many organizations, views of the market are changing from the traditional narrow goal of seeking simply market share and profit to a broader goal that includes considering the organization's impact on the environment and the community in general. Technical assistance and support received from independent bodies other than the registering or certifying entities, particularly those with a multinational scope, will become increasingly important as the level of sophistication and specificity increases in international quality and standards programs. One such multinational body is the Organization of American States, which has been a promoter for many years of ITC video conferences and a recognized leader on the topic of standardization. In fact, I am quite pleased to inform you that today the OAS celebrates its 50th anniversary in Washington, D.C., with a high-level meeting of world leaders. It is a pleasure to introduce to you today's expert speakers, Dr. Yoram Malevski, Ms. Ramona Villalón Donoso, Mr. Oscar Harasic, and Ms. Rocío Marbán. Dr. Yoram Malevski holds a bachelor's and a master's degree from the Hebrew University in Israel and a PhD from Michigan State University in Management. He is currently president of Mayare International, a consulting firm which specializes in the development of management strategies, total quality, product redesign, and international marketing. His clients include the Organization of American States, the World Bank, the Inter-American Development Bank, and many corporate and government entities located mainly in Europe and the Americas. He is co-author of the books Organizational Earthquake and Tailor-Made Total Quality, and of numerous articles and reports on quality trends, standards, and competitiveness. He is also in the process of finishing the book, The Path and the Goal. Ms. Ramona Villalón Donoso holds a degree in agricultural engineering from the Universidad de Chile in Santiago. She has worked in normalization and quality projects for the past 25 years, most of these associated with the Central American Research and Technology Institute based in Guatemala, and more recently, since 1993, at the National Institute for Normalization in Santiago, Chile. She has lectured internationally in numerous universities and conferences on quality management, metrology, productivity, auditing, and environmental management. Mr. Harasic is coordinator of the OAS multinational project on metrology, standardization, accreditation, and quality, and executive secretary of the Inter-American Metrology System. He is a chemical engineer and holds a master's degree in industrial engineering from Iowa State University. He is a member of the American Society for Quality and senior member of the American Institute of Industrial Engineers. He has presented and published numerous papers and articles in magazines, journals, international fora in the area of technological services to industry. Ms. Rocío Marbán is presently an expert advisor to the OAS Inter-American Project of Metrology and principal of the consulting firm 2001 Producción y Servicios Incorporados. Ms. Marbán holds a degree in biological chemistry from the Universidad de San Carlos and in mathematics from the Universidad del Valle, both in Guatemala, and for several years was the head of information services at the Central American Research Institute for Industry, where she was responsible for implementing a wide array of applied information technology projects. She has participated in numerous international programs dealing with metrology applications for education, business, and government, mainly throughout the Americas. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Let us begin with an introductory question. Why should countries worry about quality and performance? Dr. Malevski.
Well, quality is really a way of life. Quality is a philosophy, and also quality is a technology. And today it is really essential to live by the quality standards if we like to compete. So countries must adapt the philosophy and adapt the technology if they like to succeed and compete.
Ms. Villalón?
Well, quality requires standard because a standard establishes the specification that verify if the product meets or comply with the quality level to satisfy consumers or users.
Mr. Harasic?
Quality requires measurement. Metrology is the science of measurement. The way to verify the quality you verify through measurements. That's why quality requires measurements.
Ms. Marbán?
Well, yes, I should like to add that in order for enterprises to compete, they need not only quality, they need not only standards, they need not only access to metrology, but they also need information on those subjects. And if the information is not available or if it is not reliable, then it makes no sense to speak of quality and standards.
Thank you for your comments. Let us begin with Module 1, in which Dr. Yoram Malevski will review the concept of quality and today's essential tools for global competitiveness.
Today we live in an exciting era, the era of globalization. This era is characterized by the opening of borders and by global competition among companies with different cultural backgrounds and with different efficiency levels. This new and exciting development forces us to adjust first and foremost the way we think and consequently the way we run our organizations. Some very important questions are these. What is the mission? What are the aims? And what are the responsibilities of management in this new era? Without any doubt, the mission and the responsibility of management is to create strategic, comparative, and competitive advantages for the organization, not just in a market in general, but rather specifically in given segments of the market, which may interest the organization. We all recognize that there are different markets. We are talking about international markets, national markets, regional markets within the country, and local markets. Experience shows that those markets have different quality requirements from the same product. This is how we came to understand and accept that the same product may have different quality levels according to its use and destination. In this way, the market is forcing us all over the world to provide different quality levels for the same product. If we accept that different quality levels for the same product are required, then we understand and accept that quality is a relative term rather than an absolute one. Quality is a matter of definition, and as such, the essence of quality is to comply with a set of specifications or standards. This way, we have established the linkage between market demands, quality levels, quality specifications, and standards. There is no way we can understand quality without understanding its linkage to standards and specifications. Standards may vary. We all know of the existence of international standards set by international organizations like ISO or the Codex Alimentarius, which is a joint venture between the World Health Organization and the FAO. The Codex deals with normalization or the establishment of norms in the food industry. We also deal with national standards set by organizations like the British Standard Institute, INEN in Ecuador, UNIT in Uruguay, ASTM in the United States, and so on. Trading blocs may have their own standards. For example, the European Union has its own common set of directives and standards. Regardless of the nature of the standard set, this must be complied with according to customer needs and demands. It is important to emphasize that an organization or a customer may have its own standards, which often are much more demanding than the national or international standards. Regardless of the nature of the standard, in this new era of globalization, there is no excuse for an organization not to establish specifications and comply with consumer standards. When an organization is not working with set standards or not working within the standards, by definition it means that this organization cannot provide products with the desired level of quality. Thus far, we have established a linkage between standards, specifications, and quality. In world-class organizations, management and technical staff understand very well the significance and meaning of standards and specifications. However, determining the answer to the question of how to assure a desired quality level while staying in the line with client requirement is not so simple. In order to comply with standard requirements, many organizations have applied or are applying different approaches. It is worthwhile to mention the major management tools used to assure product quality. Inspection, quality control, and quality assurance were and still are the prime tools to assure product quality. The emphasis of those management philosophies and practices is always on the product itself. Working with inspection, quality control, and quality assurance requires that we develop more efficient methodologies to assure that our products or service leaves the organization at a competitive price while still within the desired quality specifications and that the consumer is ultimately satisfied. Over the years, we have managed to tighten controls so that it has been possible to achieve a level of zero defects and problems have been prevented. The philosophies and methodologies originally designed only to assure product quality basically ignored the rest of the functions and activities of the organization and as such were not sufficient to assure survival in an era of increased competition. It became necessary to integrate all organizational activities into a broader philosophy of quality. It was understood very quickly that an organization cannot produce a product that complies with established specifications and then fail in some of its other functions, such as administration or marketing, which are not directly related to product quality. This is how philosophies and management tools like TQM, re-engineering, and benchmarking were developed. Today we understand that an organization will succeed only if it complies with two basic rules. The first, that it provides sustained consumer satisfaction in a world in which consumer demands change constantly. And second, that it provides this desired quality at the lowest possible cost. Costs are determined by the studies of benchmarking, while consumer satisfaction and consumer demands are determined by market studies. Today, we understand that if we want to be successful, those two laws, consumer satisfaction, both internal or external, and production at the lowest costs, must be applied to all activities of the company. Organizations that guarantee those principles become truly world-class organizations. In our era of globalization, we now understand that each organization adds its own personality. For this reason, we should not emphasize the application of given management methodology, but rather the results of the operation. We are result-oriented and we favor organizations which provide a product or service at the lowest possible cost while providing the consumer with what he or she wants. It is up to the organization to decide what management tools to use and in what sequence, taking into account the cultural background, the personality of the organization, its composition in terms of human resources, traditions, and so forth. We have seen that the true mission and responsibility of an organization is to create strategic, comparative, and competitive advantages. Only organizations which create these advantages, respecting ethical principles, can prosper and succeed. A very important thing to consider is what the consumer really wants. We have seen that the same product may have different quality levels, and we have seen that those quality levels are expressed in terms of standards or a set of specifications. We understand that the specifications are really the expression of a deeper sentiment of what the consumer wants. In the era of globalization, we have come to realize that the consumer is looking for a value. What is value? Value is a very complex mental average computed in the consumer's mind. Value is the hard-to-figure sum of quality attributes, quality of service, price, prestige, convenience, reliability, availability, uniformity, use, etc. The consumer also takes into account the possible reaction of his peer group to a purchase. No one wants to be criticized by his peer group for a wrong purchasing decision. For this reason, organizations must provide the consumer with ammunition against possible attacks. It is clear that value is a very complex term understood differently by different consumers. The challenge of each and every organization is to figure out the specific value of its products and offer it to the consumer in terms of a quality level expressed by standards and specifications. Those organizations that succeed in figuring out the current value and possible changes in the value and the changing mind of the consumer are the organizations that will create the strategic advantage we have talked about. When a consumer develops loyalty to a brand, the consumer creates what has been called social capital. Social capital can be demonstrated best by the following example. At a first-class restaurant, we may be offered two types of steaks: a steak from Argentinian beef and a steak from Nepalese or Zimbabwe beef. Which are we going to prefer? I think that the answer is clear. Most of us are going to prefer the Argentinian beef. And why? Because Argentina has created a reputation for its beef. We, the consumers, have the perception that Argentinian beef is much better, and that is why we are going to prefer it. This created value can be translated into dollars and cents. World-class organizations understand the value that consumers attribute to a product or a service. Those organizations do the utmost to guarantee this value to the consumer on a sustained basis. We have seen that value is what the consumer is looking for. How about product or service price? The following example explains best pricing for value. Two watches may be produced, for example, at $10 each. One has a selling price of $30, while the other of $300. Why the difference? The difference exists because the consumer perceives the value of one watch as being $30, while perceiving the value of the other watch to be $300. If the organization, which is able to get $300 for the watch with the perceived higher value, begins selling the watch for $50, it might experience consumer dissatisfaction with the product and loss of market share because of a perceived lack of value. It is clear that value is related to price, and price is related to many attributes the product might have, to prestige and other characteristics that don't have to do necessarily with quality attributes. World-class organizations understand this clearly. Such organizations guarantee the consumer value at the right price. The ability of management to set the right price is both science and art. It is very tricky to establish the right combination between price, quality, prestige, and other attributes. Nonetheless, it is a must. Organizations must guarantee specifications and standards so value and social capital prevail. Sustained success and the quality guarantee is achieved by the introduction of quality systems. Those systems are promoted today by the widely used ISO 9000 standards. What exactly is a quality system? A quality system is a set of activities, internal policies and procedures that guarantee the desired level of quality. It is clear, and we all want quality systems. The question is how to determine and set the best policies, activities, and procedures to guarantee the desired quality. Although ISO 9000 standards are very explicit, here again we have to go tailor-made. Each organization must have its own tailor-made quality system, which again must be developed according to the organization's personality, its cultural background, its human and financial resources, and its current operating conditions. It is important to emphasize that effective quality systems are integrated quality systems, systems where the providers and consumers play a role. We do not want to check, analyze, and measure incoming materials on arrival. We would rather accept materials with a certified level of quality. For this reason, world-class organizations certify the quality systems of their providers, establish agreed-upon standards, and rely fully on declared quality levels. Under those circumstances, only spot checks are necessary to assure and verify the agreed quality level of the newly arrived goods. Working with integrated quality systems creates extended organizations, a win-win relationship, and strategic alliances. Organizations do the utmost to develop the same type of win-win relationship with their customers. Organizations like to see the customer as being part of the organization, as being a constant and permanent partner. This win-win situation creates social capital and assures sustained success. We all understand that the consumer in this context could be another organization or the final consumer. Whatever the type of the consumer, he must feel that he participates in a win-win situation, in a situation where desired quality and price levels are maintained. It is obvious that quality systems play a role in guaranteeing value for customers. Effective quality and quality assurance systems must be based on measurements and analysis. There is no way we can guarantee value without assuring it. Measurements and analysis require the use of calibrated measuring instruments and verified laboratory analysis methods. To guarantee accuracy of the measuring instruments and analysis methods, one must make sure of the services of national and regional metrology institutions which carry out periodic calibrations of measuring instruments. Furthermore, all types of laboratories should be cross-checked periodically. We have established clear linkage between the quality of goods and services produced and the successful application of standards and metrology systems in world-class organizations. We have seen that the consumer is looking for value based, among other things, on quality attributes, which are translated into standards or sets of specifications. Quality systems and quality assurance systems based on accurate measurements and analysis guarantee the desired quality level. Management must make sure that the organization's quality system is not too bureaucratic in structure. Only the successful application of the management cycle assures efficient quality in organization systems. World-class organizations apply the following cycle of activities for optimum results. First, they set goals, missions, and visions. Second, they determine a form of organization and organizational development that designed to support the established goals. World-class organizations see human resources as the most important resource, and for this reason, all necessary resources for human development are allocated to this area. Third, in the cycle, is the efficient execution of the work, hopefully with zero defects, and a proactive approach to problem solving. This job includes the verification of quality levels with reliable established measuring and analysis methods. Fourth is the control and evaluation of all the processes, so necessary adjustments can be made. What I have just described is the management cycle being used successfully by many world-class organizations. And there is no reason why such a management tool cannot be used in organizations all over the world, regardless of cultural background and existing traditions. We have seen clearly that world-class organizations use standards and metrology in order to guarantee the consumer the value he or she is looking for. Such organizations work within the framework of the management cycle, always considering the two basic laws necessary for the creation of strategic alliances with suppliers and consumers. Again, the two basic laws are supplying the consumer with the value he is looking for and doing so at the right price. A world-class organization must honor those two laws in order to create and maintain social capital. It is up to each and every organization to decide if it is ready to join the exclusive club of organizations